Welcome to your show, Revolutionize Your Marketing by Mill City Marketing MA. This show is actually hosted by John Petros Sr. I'm Kurt Roskopf, and we have a couple of guests that John is so excited to bring to you. Again, Revolutionize Your Marketing. So we're going to dive in with these guests, just let them share their story, but then we're going to bring it all back to this magnificent field of marketing and find out how they do their marketing and what John and I want to say about marketing and wrap it up with that because we're going to revolutionize marketing. John, come on in here. Go ahead and introduce your show a little bit more and maybe even a little bit of, what's the sneak peek on Mill City marketing? Like, what's the novelty? Why do people go to you instead of someone else for marketing?
They come to me because they want things done right.
Of course. All right. Anything
Welcome,
else you want to say
folks.
about the show? Like revolutionize your marketing kind of what are you leaving your guests with? Why do you keep coming back every week to do this for marketing?
Because, yeah, I like giving back to businesses. So I bring them on here and let them promote their business and what they do and
All
help other
right.
businesses.
All right, John.
That's
Well, let's
the
get
name
down
of the
to it.
game.
Let's bring in your first guest. Who do you have lined up for our audience to see first?
So let's bring Veronica in.
Well, hello, everybody. How is everybody lighting up their world today? Having fun?
Oh
We're
yeah,
having
always
a
having
great
fun.
day. There she is.
Well, it's an honor to be here. So thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you. Let's start off and let people know where you are and how you got to do what you're doing today.
Absolutely. I'm located in Canada to start, just in case there's people from the US, so they can localize the country first. And then in Ontario, which is the province. And within that, I'm north of Toronto by an hour, in the middle of a forest by the river, in a beautiful, magical place called Mono, Ontario. Yeah? So that's where I'm located. Believe it or not, I came all the way from Argentina some 35 years ago in search of being me because I grew up in dictatorship. So when I was 21, I finished my university. I packed my whole life in a backpack and I left on my own with the key of my education to a trip to freedom, to be able to have the right to be me. And that's why I'm here because through my past, I learned that the greatest privilege any human being can have is the right to be fully themselves and to manifest their true colors and every authentic pieces of themselves as a contribution to the collective world. So I'm here to inspire others to aspire to embrace the very best of themselves through Thrive Being You, transformational life and wellness coaching.
I love that accent.
Hola, señores. Hola.
All right. So what is it that you do exactly now?
What I do exactly is I help those people that find that they have a longing, an area of discontent in their life, something that is just not clicking in. Mostly middle life age women that wake up one day and they find like, who is this person looking at me in the mirror? That's not me. Who is this man next to me? What is it that I'm doing? Why my house is empty and there's no kids? And who am I? And I help them, reclaim all that power that has been placed in the wrong places, shuffle through their authenticity and create a life they love. So mostly what I do is I help others manifest and create a life they love, not just on weekends or after work hours, but every single moment of their lives. Just like when we're kids and we wake up in the morning and our full life force is 100%, not 70 or 80%.
I could use some of that.
Absolutely, because believe it or not, many of us are just shallow in breathing. We're not optimizing and really capitalizing all our incredible potential for well-being. And one of the programs I do is called Bulletproof Your Golden Years. And if you want to know what that is, are you interested in hearing what that is?
I'm on the edge of the golden years.
Well, I know, but when was the best time? I'm going to ask you this. Have you ever opened a bank account in your life? I assume you have.
A
Yes?
few of them.
most of us have very early on, like we have our piggy banks really early on. We want to have those deposits so that one day we retire and we have a secure, retirement. We forget to open the bank account consciously of our wellness early on so we can place all those deposits with healthy deposits in the nourishing of our bodies, the movement, so we're not completely sedentary, just little tiny movements here and there, a little neck roll, deep breathing, just simple things. We don't have to go to the gym, but just that awareness, including doing all the things that manifest our authenticity and that we love, so that when those last 20, 30 years, now we're living longer and longer, we can also enjoy quality of life because our wellness is our wealth. So I ensure to step in, and if you haven't opened that wellness bank account, the best time is today. Start today. Just like planting a tree was 20 years ago. If you haven't done it, then start today. Plant that seedling.
Okay. Well, let's bring my other guest in and let him jump in on this conversation. Come on in, Les.
You bet.
Mhm.
There we
Hello,
are.
everybody.
Hello.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So let's let everybody know where you are and how you get to do what you're doing
Sure.
nowadays.
I'm outside of Denver, in a little town called Colorado. I mean, part of a town, not cute. Littleton. We're 25 miles southwest of Denver. If you've been in Colorado, right up against the foothills, beautiful area. And I've been in. I was born in Colorado. I'm one of those rare things called a native. And most of the time in Colorado, everybody is not natives unless from the farm country. And I'm actually from the farm country, raised on the farm until I was 17, went in the military, or 19, went in the military, and 3 years, and then came back and been here. But I've been in sales training for 40 years. Various positions, but one that most people are familiar with and drop a name would be the GE long-term care insurance. I was a regional sales manager for 7 years, taught hundreds of salespeople. But I had a very traumatic childhood. And so I got into understanding emotions, which solved a lot of problems. And gradually, I've learned that emotions is what continues and creates everything good in our life. And 2.5 years ago, I was able to study under J.W. Wilson. He was known as the world leader in the study of neuroscience for motivation and behavior change. Now, to clarify behavior change, anytime a person stops and decides to buy from you, that's behavior change. But it also goes bigger. He was known for turning around at-risk schools that were full of gangs and drugs by showing the kids how they were designed by the universe or God, whatever your belief system. And you can go to Amazon and download his best-selling book, Cracking the Learning Code. Just give you a 2 or 3 sentence here why he was known as a world leader. He traveled with Robert Kiyosaki, filled all of his venues. He taught him how to connect with clients. He had Mayo Clinic's doctors connect with all their patients through emotions. He had the only diabetic, holistic diabetic and weight loss clinic in California for 10 years, rated number top 10 by John Hopkins, built $21 million businesses. So needless to say, he knows a little bit about neuroscience. And I was fortunately study under him. And he passed last year, unfortunately. He was 77. But through his book and another gentleman by the name of John Asher, Neuroscience of Sales, I have created a workshop. And the biggest thing about the workshop is we've all been falsely led against what we were created to be. What I mean by that, for instance, we all have a short-term memory and long-term memory. A good example of short-term memory is when you were in school, your brain allowed you to absorb everything up to the time of the test. And then after the test, within 10 days, you forgot probably everything within 10 days. That's short-term memory. Long-term memory is what goes in and actually creates behavior change, something that we really want. Give you an example. Think of the first time that you rode a bicycle. You remember that one because that was part of your life. You probably also remember the first time you kissed somebody. Again, that was part of your life. And what neuroscience is the science of showing a person who they were created to be by the universe or God. And this workshop that I do has 3 parts to it. The first part is to show people how to connect with their brain and their emotions to actually create change. The second part is the science of buying and selling. All of us are selling every day. Might be to our teenage son, might be our team member, might be our manager. And there's certain things the brain's looking for and certain things it's not. And in an hour, I show people all that. And the last hour is we were all created with certain talents, abilities, and interests. And the last workshop actually shows the 6 areas in the brain that we use to work with, have our relationships, and our growth. And there's 6 areas, and everybody's heard of the Myers-Briggs and the DISC assessments. Those only cover 2. There's 4 areas that they don't cover. And fortunately, there was an assessment created in the 1980s. It was proprietary to the Fortune 500 for 30 years. And it shows all 6. So when a person takes this, somebody that they're applying to for an employer, the employer knows exactly what type of work the person should be doing or shouldn't be doing, what type of team they should be on. And one of the big things we use it for is to match employee with company. Because if we bring an employee into a company that the culture doesn't match, pretty soon the employee is going to be gone anyway, and the company is going to wonder why that employee didn't work. So we actually go into the company and we give the assessment to the owners, HR director, and so forth to determine what the culture of that company. We're not trying to change the company. We're trying to put one and one together rather than oil and water. And so now we're able to bring in an employee to the company that really wants to work, and the company wants them there. So it's pretty amazing. And the workshop shows people how to connect with the other people the way they were designed. So it's a phenomenal connection. And on the workshop, for any business consultant, a HR consultant, or executive recruiter, they host me on the workshop. I charge $299. The host gets 100 of that. And so they're able to use it as a second to bring in employees or companies that they're coaching, and everybody wins. And the other thing is was just invited next week. I'm going down to Colorado Springs, and I'm going to be introduced to a bunch of veteran groups. By the way, I'm a veteran, 74 through 77 U.S. Army. And but we're going to help all the veterans get jobs. And they're pretty excited about it. But this is a tool that definitely helps people get jobs. In fact, it's the only assessment that I know of that has a video. It's not a paper that you look at and say, well, where do I fit here? This is actually a 28-minute video showing all 6 parts of ourselves. So the employer can say, wow, I've got a spot for this person, or I don't. I'm going to call my friend with his company. So that's basically what I'm doing, and I'm super excited about, because it all has to do with emotions. And the emotions can drive us to everything good. And for people that don't understand it, they need to understand their emotions, because all emotions. One of the things JW, when he met me, he said, Les, I'm going to teach you a new language. I says, okay, what's that? He says, emotions. He says, every single decision we make, every single action we take is preceded by an emotion. And one of the things that I do on marketing, on my workshop, is I show people how to get to the third level of emotion. And that's where all decisions come from. Because unfortunately, marketing, until they get to that third level and market toward it, we receive over 7,000 messages a day trying to get into our brain. Walk down a grocery aisle, and you've seen over 10,000 ads. Drive 10 miles in a big city, all the billboards. Fortunately, our brain was designed to block every single one of them, unless they have personal meaning for us today. And so that's what I teach people. And JW actually was known in marketers to show them how to change websites to neuroscience and increase their activity 20 to 1,000%. He was quite an individual, and loved to answer any questions. But I'm pretty excited about taking JW's work forward, because he was my mentor for a year and a half. And it's pretty excited what he does with people and what we were actually created to be. You're muted.
Oh,
There you go.
Feels a little bit of background noise, so I muted. I forgot about that. But yeah, that's a very good platform to be working with. So Les, you're into neuroscience, and Veronica, you're into um, kind of the same basic background. So the two of you should get along good together on this show.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm already
Yeah.
admiring and digging the things about emotions, because connecting with our emotions can free us up to the energy that needs to be channeled in the right direction. So yeah, I appreciate all that. Absolutely.
Do you guys have any questions for the other one?
Well, yeah, I would like to know, Les, how like how effective this is. Like, what is your success rate, and what are the challenges that you face?
Sure. Well, first off, the workshop, I don't know if you've heard of Alignable.
Yes.
The JW's book, Cracking the Learning Code, and my experience with him, Alignable asked me to form a group to educate on brain science. And it's called Neuroscience of Marketing and Sales. And every Tuesday, I educate people how to connect to their emotions. And I'd been doing that for seven months. And every Tuesday, I teach something about neuroscience. And I had a guy said, Les, this stuff is phenomenal. Why aren't you getting paid for it? And so I decided to create the workshop. And so the workshop's brand new. And that's why
Okay.
I'm looking for people to host me. And one other thing to let you know about the workshop. And this, as I said, I charge $209, $299. This here, if you do this, it will pay for the $299 10 times over. My workshop is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 hour apiece. The reason, when we were in school and we were studying something and we got tired, they told you to grab a cup of coffee and memorize, right? The brain doesn't like that. What it does like is next time you're studying and you get tired, listen inside. When it says, I've had enough, I'm full, stop. Sleep on it. JW's book proves 80% of learning happens at night while we're sleeping. When I was studying his book, I was thinking I wasn't getting anything. And I thought, well, I'll try what he told me. I slept on it. I couldn't believe the next morning how much information was organized in my mind and I understood it. And so if you do that, anytime you're studying anything, if you want to learn chess, if you want to learn anything, listen inside. When it says you're full, sleep on it. That's the reason my workshop is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It gives the brain some time before we go into the next section. And so, yeah, this is new. I'd love to have people to host it. And again, they get $100 of the $299, and they also get a tremendous deal to add to their practice of bringing out the companies. And the other thing I'll mention to you, the Fortune 500 found that this assessment helped them get along with their team members so well. There's another team people don't think about, their marriage. And so they had their spouse take it. And they couldn't believe how much they didn't know about their spouse. And they said it saved hundreds of marriages. In fact, my wife and I have been married for 24 years. She's a psychotherapist. She took it and I took it. And she said, now I understand why he does what he does. And so she's been telling everybody, this is the best thing I've ever seen. But at the same time, it removed a little bit of friction we had in an area because now she understands it. And what's interesting is for couples that really want to stay together, this is another tool. So for marriage counselors and so forth, this is a tool. In fact, I talked to a gentleman today that works with marriages. And he said, yeah, this would be a foundation to work with. So to answer your question there, sorry for a long answer.
That's fine. Yeah, actually sounds like something that me and my wife could use.
Pretty much every couple in the universe, it seems.
Yeah, yeah.
And let me tell you about the assessment. It is, since it does have, it creates 6 different areas. And the Myers-Briggs part and the DISC, it has that part in it. It has a part that shows what your aptitude is. It has a part, one of the big parts is it shows what keeps our soul on fire, what we call the why. And this is the only one that I know that does. See, when a person gets in problems and they're on the right track, the brain produces 3 hormones, which gives us all the good feelings we want and enthusiasm to make it through the hard times. And this assessment shows the why. And if a person doesn't have a why for this particular job, they shouldn't be in it because they're going to burn out and they're not going to do it. But that's what this does, is show the why. And so that's one of the things completely different than all the rest. And so when a marriage couple wants together and they had certain reasons why, it'll give anybody the ability to go forward. It's pretty neat.
It's very neat. If I could interrupt a second, it's very interesting because we actually get to the same results. Like if we're looking at the results that we provide, the people we work with, they're very similar, except that I get to that same avenue through the clarity of intuition and self-awareness, which is what flashes light into what is it that makes us tick and lights up our world. And we intuitively, prior to systems and labels existing, mapping the way for us, we have an innate system, an intuition, an inner teacher, so to speak, that in front of a space and simply quiet in solitude, especially in natural surroundings, we can dive right into that same information without any further tools or payment or whatever. Is free. Part of the reason sometimes is for me really almost hard, if I'm honest with my customers, is because really, all this is readily available for all of us. We just have to stop, look, and listen, tune out, and make a distinction between the outside world and the inside world, because all those answers are inside of us, and we all know it. Like if I go and apply to a job, I know right away when I'm sick in my stomach. Let's suppose I want to be a bus driver, for example. Well, that's not aligned with the essence of who I am. That's not aligned with my soul contract. My body's gonna tell me. I'm gonna feel sick to my stomach. I'm gonna know this is not where I belong. And even if I act up the role and I get the job, I'm gonna be miserable, and not gonna be I'm not gonna last long, right? So we all kind of know that intrinsically inside. Where I come in the picture is that I guide others to reconnect with that ability to have that satellite, to really be able to start trusting themselves in those decisions, because most of us look for the map of where we need to go outside of ourselves, and that's where we get nowhere. We climb the wrong mountains in life. We end up being successful on paper but miserable inside. We're playing against the honest stream of our essence. And I believe this is why my channel is called in YouTube Thrive Being You. It's almost impossible to get up in the morning champion like a kid if you're not really being honest and transparent with your authenticity, and you're blocking and you've abandoned pieces of yourself. For example, if I don't want to be a mother and I created a family with 10 kids, I'm not going to be happy. Not everybody's meant to be a mother just because everybody else does it. Not everybody. I never had a normal job in my life because that did not hit with me. I did not want a 9-to-5 job ever, and I never did it. Yet I own my houses, I own my professions, I figured out another way. So what I believe, and I agree with you, because we're trying to get the same results, not everybody's able to tune in so easily and readily with that intuition. There's blockages that we have. Not everybody can access their emotions as easily, right? Like you were fortunate to have a past that allow you to do that, and that's probably why you connect with this program, right? You want to help others. And I am the same. I naturally always connected with my emotions. And so I felt the right to defend those emotions. So when I was 6 years old, my instinct was to grab my pen and start drawing with my left hand. And here I was beaten up to bleed by the dictatorship because I wasn't allowed to. I knew I wanted to use my left hand. So what I did is to satisfy them and not be killed, I use my right hand, but inside, under the sheets in the darkness, I preserve the right to speak with to write with my left hand, and my thoughts as well. And when I was 21 and I was free, I kept all that pristine because I knew this is me, this is them, right? So the good news is that there is many ways to get to Rome. As long as we're getting to Rome. I think that is the bottom line here, that we're trying to help people thrive being themselves, right?
And one thing, let me mention, what science 100% backs what she's saying. Because one of the things, when people get out of what they were designed for, their brain actually produces cortisol, which is stress, because it knows it's not supposed to be there, and actually reduces the creative ability of a person. And so once we get back on track, 100%, one of the things JW always said is then the universe or God, whatever your belief system, takes over, because you are supposed to be good. You are supposed to be
believe
very
that,
good
yeah.
at something. And so then you'll start noticing things come in your life that you didn't plan on, because the universe or God is helping you build. And science backs what she says. Let everybody know that.
Yeah, and I also wanted to let you know as well, because it really rang a bell. I wanted to share this. When I studied for university, and I did 2 careers at once, I was doing social psychology and translation and interpretation. And I would study, and I would sometimes read in a tape what I had to study, listen to it as I fell asleep, and the next morning I knew everything. And I graduated from both programs with the highest average. And I literally, all I had to do is have a relaxed mind. And like you said, let the night process the information. And it was like a miracle. People are like, how do you do it? Or else I would read it and go for a long walk and let my mind process the information. And it's like a miracle. It's like, what sponges. It's unbelievable, our potential. So I agree with what you're saying as well.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic when you are centered on science plus your intuition, that 100%. And to let everybody know on the assessment, because it is so complete, it has 9 parts to it. Some are 15 minutes, some are 30 minutes, some are 45. But it's also designed for the busy person. What I mean by that is you take it for 15 minutes and you don't have more time. It sends a link to your email. When you're ready for 30 minutes, you click on, you go to the next part. Once all 9 are done, then within a week to 2, you get a recording showing how all the assessment works. And so one of the things I was just talking to the gentleman, oh, by the way, the person who was selling it to the Fortune 500 retired after 35 years. And he gave full control to the person I'm working with. And I was just on a call with him. And he said one of the things about it was, and I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, I just lost it. What I was saying, that we're the reason we record and go through all of the 9 assessments and show you who you are is for an employer. A lot of times has to study an assessment so they understand when people take it how to interpret it. We interpret it for them. That's what the video is. So the employer does not have to study and understand it. The video itself does. Mm-hmm. And so at the same time, when you watch the video, when I did, I thought, man, that's me. But I also see areas I should stay away from. It's not me. And that's one of the great things about for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are doing too many things. It really shows what they should be delegating or at least outsourcing. That's actually reducing their ability to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's very, very true. A lot of entrepreneurs, they don't have a clear mind. They're relatively new in their business, and that's one of the problems that they have.
Yep.
They concentrate on too many things at the same time. And a lot of them that I know that are like family-owned businesses, they're going from morning to night.
Mm-hmm.
So even at night, the brain is processing things, but they're so tired that it's not processing things all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of small business owners, they need to take time during the day and relax and not work from when they get up till they go back to bed.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm going through it sometimes myself, between what I do and helping my wife with hers.
I believe because being an entrepreneur, like, is really inviting to multitask a lot and to not pick one focus at a time. And the truth is that we believe we're accomplishing more, but when we divide and conquer and we take one area, we focus, take a mini break that we think is a waste of time, but actually it brings oxygen to the brain. It opens us up. It creates new ideas. It's like having a blank paper again. And it's almost like every time we take those 5 precious minutes, even if it's just 5 or a 10-minute walk, we're actually creating a space. And then when we come back to the next chore, like if we chop it in pieces, we're more productive, we're more empowered, we're more alive and more connected with that task. And therefore I learned this in my yoga training actually 25 years ago. I did in New York, and we had to live in the ashram. And there were certain things that, for example, I always used to love to walk for hours early in the morning. We were not even allowed to move, but we had to divide in literally the day was all fractioning, and we were taught you actually accomplish more by taking those mini breaks, by creating, and every time you're really focused, you're so sharp. It's like literally the lenses are really focusing, and there's such a difference in the productivity that is unbelievable. And then you can finish a whole day and not feel exhausted. Like you don't feel like, because you're replenishing as you go. So it's true, John, what you're saying, that sometimes we feel, oh, I'm going to waste time if I don't create, even if it's an hour in the middle of the day, to do something completely different than business. It's going to pay off later with our productivity. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me bring my so-called co-host back in here. Kurt, I know you have questions for these two.
Yes, sir. I have more than questions. Boy, this show is quite a live wire, folks. So I'm going to do a little housekeeping. I'm going to do a little audience assistance here. So I'm going to back up the tape here a little bit. We're going to go back to that Les mentioned about alignable. Les checked for us here on the screen that we know what alignable is, but I want to make sure we mention John is an ambassador of alignable. So I want to make sure that everybody out there is familiar with this layout available at alignable.com. It is quite a tremendous community of millions, and so it offers a lot of marketing to be had and networking as a function of marketing. I just wanted to give that glimpse out there for our viewing audience to make sure we didn't leave anybody like that alignable thing. I didn't catch on. So there you go, alignable.com. So the other thing I'm picking up on is, through the transcript, I see the word brain brought up a lot. So that's the connecting point here. And the brain serves really well in marketing, right, John? John mentioned at the beginning, well, they come to him because they want it right. Well, he must be having something going right up in there, with his marketing mind. And then when we talk about the brain, we have a lot of professionals out there, probably a lot of them on Alignable, that talk about that brain gut alignment, so a healthy gut is, so important. So, when I look at all of this and we're looking at the linguistics and the mind and, being the best version of ourselves, the whole thing that this conversation is, I enter in the perspective of energy. And energy has tremendous value, not just with us physically and, everything in our interpersonal space and just being a productive person, but with what John does, energy is so important. He's involved in television. He can get things out onto commercials and so forth to add some energy into your marketing plans. So, Veronica, I want you to speak to this a little bit with I'm in here to kind of stir up the pot, kind of give new
Absolutely.
angles,
Well,
refresh, reinvigorate the conversation.
I
When
I
I make
think, yeah.
intentions, so where does that put you?
Well, where it puts me is right at the heart of what I do because energy is the life force. We are like, think of it as like a light bulb, right? And the light off or the light on, right? You really want to see clearly what do you need? The light on. And we are all like walking light bulbs, except all you got to do is go out today to a mall, a supermarket, and tell me how many people are radiating energy. Are really like you could say, this person is on, they're on. There's like vibrations coming out of that person. In yoga, in energy fields, we call that the aura. There is actually a color. There is a special cameras that can capture that. We can see it, we can feel it. It's the same energy that when sometimes you walk in a room and you feel a resistance, I don't want to deal with that person. And you walk back and you're like, I'm not dealing with that person. I'm not dealing with this situation, or I don't have a good energy with this place. Again, we all have that ability to read that. And marketing has a huge force in that. I am not an expert. It's one of the fields in my being an entrepreneur, an independent person. I have never been able to do any marketing because I don't know how to sell myself. What I do know is how to have my light bulb of vitality, my life force, 100% on, so that my marketing, when people call me on the phone, hey, how can I sell you marketing? You know what I said? I already have intrinsic marketing. I magnetize. Like literally people come to me and they're like, hey, what is your secret? How come you're almost 60 and you have more energy than my teenager? What's going on? I want what you got. Okay, I'll show you. So marketing, I don't have to pay for it, but I do have to invest in myself and I have to be the walk I want to see in the world. And yet marketing has value because again, if I needed to do more marketing, if I wanted to touch more souls and hearts and deliver this message, I am not an expert on it. I have a YouTube channel, again, Thrive Being You. I think I did 250 videos in about 3 weeks, all shot in nature, beautiful nature, like John, like Les, I live in a beautiful place. few viewers because nobody knows that they exist, the video exists because it's being sent to the wrong people, right? So obviously there is a place for marketing beyond my magnetizing. So I recognize the importance of what John does and what this space is for, because we all need one another, collaboration, and each of us putting out there in life force our areas of expertise. So I do my piece, John is doing his piece. If we all contribute with what we know best, we can create a beautiful, radiant world. And we can help each other so those seeds that are so needed to create a wonderful world. That's my vision. It's cooperation, collaboration, integration. It's not a competition. We can help one another. And so, and John, I'm sure you help a lot of people through your marketing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Excellent. In the field of marketing, Les, I want to come back to you. You can help us make a big splash in just a minute.
You
We have
bet.
friend Zach Clayton out in your area, Les, out in the Denver, Greeley, Colorado area. 5 years ago, I was on a Zoom session with him, and I looked at everything he was doing with Community Pay It Forward and the ACT program all come together. I mean, what a genius thing that Zach Clayton is doing, and has a nice little tribe where you're a part of it, Les. Can you
Yep.
tell our audience a little bit more about it, the shows you're doing with Zach and how that
Sure.
developed, what you're looking forward to?
Sure. Well, first off, I've been with Zach for 4 years. Every second Wednesday, he does a show with me, and I educate on the neuroscience and the different things. And as far as the marketing, one of the things I do in my workshop is I show people how their brain helps two ways. It protects them and it accelerates them. And I give them these two examples. I want you to think, and that I always have breakouts and people talk about this. And I want you to think right now about an ad that you've watched that really annoys you. And I want you to think about what you feel like when that happens, because your brain is giving you those feelings to keep you away from it because it's not you. Now, I want to give you another one where your brain helps you. I want you to think about something you're thinking of buying: vacation, new furniture, remodeling your home, how excited you are. And now ask yourself, what advertisements are you trying to find to help you with that decision? See, the first one, you don't have anything to do with. You're annoyed. The next one, your mind is full of dopamine to give you the energy to look for all the ads and so forth to help you with the decision. So it protects you from what you don't want, and it gives you all the energy to go forward on what you do want. And that's part of my workshop that I show people. So the one thing about marketers like John is when he understands what his clients want emotionally, then he can target the ads and so forth to draw that emotion out of for their clients, because the brain will assist either way, what you don't want and what you do want.
There you go. John, how about
Thank
that? You
you.
just spilled the beans. I've been on your show for a couple of years, John. First time the big reveal, he just told all the secrets you have. There you go. How's it going to work from here?
That's right. Well, yeah, it's 100% right. Part of what I do is talking to the business owners, getting from them the feel of what their customer base is like. And then I set the ads up kind of like the feel from the business owner to match the feel of the clients that they're looking for. And in doing so, it puts that bond together. So when they do react to the ads and they actually connect with the business owner at the same time, it makes that connection last. So they keep coming back. And in doing so, it gives me the background as to on the marketing end of it, who to align the ads to go to. Because whether it's social media or live stream TV, marketers can define down who sees the ads,
Mm-hmm.
either by area, which a lot of people do, or can even do it by demographics. The more detail that I get from the business owners about their customers, the more the type of customers that they're looking for, then I know where to place the ads.
Mhm.
So that's how that all plays in is in my perspective of what I do.
It's
And
And
the
mine
difference
plays a
there.
lot in
And
it.
he's right on track, because one of the things JW was known for, when people were building websites and so forth, when they actually put in neuroscience, like he's talking about, that everybody's been told it takes 8 to 12 touches before a client becomes a client. We've actually
Yeah.
proven through neuroscience that can be reduced to 4 to 6. Because once you connect to a person's emotions, they want to know more. See, people do not receive detail. In fact, one of the JW's chapters is there has to be concept connecting to emotion before detail. Otherwise, it's like taking marbles, throwing it on the kitchen floor and expecting them to go someplace,
Yeah.
except for where you
Yeah.
want them. So there has to be a bucket of emotion before you add detail.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like my mentor that I took my marketing course through down in San Diego. He kind of points out in the course that he has online that if you want to get somebody's attention, because when people are either on social media or even on live stream TV, as soon as the commercial comes on, they're flipping it off. They're fast forwarding right to the commercial. And he makes a point in the beginning of his course to point out that if you want to keep somebody's attention, you have approximately 4 to 6 seconds to grab their attention and hold on to it. That's the key point of marketing. You got to get
Mhm.
their attention right up front. And one of the ways to do that, actually, there's a couple, is with comedy. If you start out with a little comedy in the beginning, they're going to pay attention to it. The other way is perfect example, a large company like Geico. What do you see in all of their ads? The Geico lizard that talks. That gets people's attention, even though you're not looking for car insurance. You're watching this commercial because you want to see what this, pardon the expression, stupid lizard does. And the other insurance company too is the same way with the ostrich. Of course, the ostrich doesn't talk, but one commercial of theirs that keeps coming back to me is they're standing on the sidelines at a football game, and all of a sudden the bird goes running across the field. The guy goes chasing the bird, and the security people tackle the guy. The heck with the bird. They're tackling the guy on the field. Things like that is what gets people's attention.
Yeah. Veronica, it looked like you were going to jump in with something. Did you have a thought?
You will know the thought was just 2 sentences ago and thoughts ago about the energy and as it relates to marketing and anything else. It's true that the details to the content of what is being said is not as important as the energy behind it. Like even in this interaction, I'm more likely to remember very valuable content, but the energy behind each of you. When I go to those precious, Alignable has these connect meet rooms that we get 7 minutes with a person to meet. I hardly ever remember everything the person says, but what I do remember is somebody's energy. I can reconnect connect with that energy. That feels like magnetizing. So I go back to the importance to remember that we are these holistic beings, and we're not just our words, we are all these things combined. We're this package of, so, just having great word in advertising, I'm sure it would not work, like having a great, selling pitch, it wouldn't work. It's like, it's also what drives that message. And that all together is what sparks up. And yes, the brain connects with that and it says, hey, I want this. This resonates with me. But ultimately, I think what plugs us in and sparks our attention is the energy.
There you go. Thank you, Veronica. Good stuff. So, John, we're kind of at that point where I don't know what you worked out with the guests, but if we keep going long enough, we're in encore time, which is fine. I don't know if we're going to do another. We did one like a month ago. Is this an encore group again, or are we wrapping her up, John? You tell me.
You guys want to keep going?
I'm fine one way or the other, like whatever everybody votes. I'm always up for a conversation. So,
How about you, Les?
It depends on if you have more questions, fine. Otherwise, I'm fine. I think the message is out there. But if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Yeah. You have any questions, Kurt?
Well, why don't we just do kind of a minute to win it thing here? I will give each a
Okay.
chance to just speak for a minute. Let's leave with kind of a striking takeaway, something that stands out from your time doing this that, catches you right now in this show is something that's pretty amazing that was accomplished through what you do. So Veronica, are you thinking of something? Yeah, there's two of them.
Yeah, I have so many things I can think about. It's endless, the activity of my mind and my heart and my spirit. But what comes to mind right now is giving you guys a gift, and that maybe whoever is listening to this may use it as well. That is long lasting, and it is the fact that stress is our number one killer nowadays, and we don't realize that we're all holding stress. Stress is one of those emotions that is basically tied up in our bodies because it's not being released. Now, I'm going to ask you all a question really quickly. Any of you produce any garbage through your day? Like basically you eat something and do you toss it in a garbage can, or do you toss it on your kitchen floor or on the sofa? No, you usually have it. Yes. So my question is, everybody guilty as charged, and you produce garbage in a day, a certain amount of garbage? Yes, me?
Yeah.
I do it. Okay. And what about John, Les? Yes. So now this is the important question, the goal question. Do you guys all go before going to bed? You go around all the garbage cans through your rooms. You collect it all, you hug it, and you take it with you to sleep under the sheets? How many of you do that? Okay.
That does not sound good.
Okay, listen to this. We do it with our emotional garbage. We do it with our physical tension. We do it with our mental tension, not one day, but all our lives. And then we wonder why dis-ease builds up in our bodies. Then we wonder why we're tense. Then we wonder why do we have a migraine or a headache? Because all this needs to be put in the garbage, literally. We need to, so right now, I want you to go to bed tonight, relax. So everybody make tight fists. We're not going to punch one another. Make it, show me. Come on. Les, I cannot see yours. Okay, and tense, and make an ugly face, and tense, and release. And once again, tense. Okay, so that will release very quickly your physical garbage. I want you, before you go to bed, for this week or for tonight only, to tense every part of your body one by one. Your feet, your legs, your face, your jaws, where we hold most of our attention, and let your body relax. And you'll see you'll have a better restful sleep. And if you do that every day, you're adding the quality of life to that longevity golden years. And I want that. Do you want that? We all do. Yeah, I don't want to live 30 years longer. I'm in a wheelchair. No way. So we can do the same with emotional garbage, with all, but we need the awareness and we need to step in and act now. So that's all I'm going to say for today. And I hope it helps. And that's my 2 cents of wisdom for this opportunity. Thank you.
Good. So Les, we'll let you come in here and with one last pow to your message. What are you leaving with us?
You bet. One of the things that people really have a struggle with is the fact that we were all created to be very good at something. some of us are architects, some of us are mechanics, some of us are landscapers. We need everybody. We were designed to be in a community. We were not designed to be everything. And so once we get back on track of being that, our brain produces 3 hormones, which it gives us good feelings and the ability to have the enthusiasm to make it through the hard times. We've been taught, unfortunately, in business and school that you can be everybody. You can't. We were designed to be who the universe or God, whoever your belief system, designed us. And if we start listening to our feelings, that is the connection. But that's where the book, Cracking the Learning Code, and John Asher's Neuroscience of Sales and my workshop gets you there, of understanding who you really were designed to be. And it gives you all the good feelings you want.
There you go. Good stuff, Les. Thank you. So, John, it's just like running a drive-through food service. Time to wrap it up. How do you want to wrap it up?
I'm going to wrap it up with a thought also. Everything we've talked about here today is knowledge, keeping knowledge in the brain and keeping it kind of like, I say, like filed in a filing cabinet. Only the filing cabinet is your brain. Well, if you put, say, 42 people together and listen to all their stories at one time, that would really bog down your mind, correct? Well, there's a group on Alignable that has put a book together with 42 authors. Myself is one of them. It's called Built with a Purpose. That's a few of the 42 authors. And what it is each one of us has a chapter in the book, and we tell our stories, how we got started and what we're doing, and all the way up to why we do what we do. And that book should be coming out the beginning of April on Amazon. If you put 42 people from Alignable, all these people from Alignable, if you put them all together, what knowledge would you have? With this book, you could sit down and reread it. Every time you read a chapter and you read it over again, you get more stuff out of it. So I just wanted to point out that this is going to be a really tremendous book when it comes out. Keep an eye out on it. It will be available on Amazon.
Keeping it for it, John, if you're wondering what I was doing. So, but John normally does this, but I'm going to turn the tables on him. John's way to end this is, Veronica, how do people reach you, find the stuff that you do? How do people continue the journey once we say goodbye?
Absolutely. They should come and visit my YouTube channel, Thrive Being You. Not anybody else, being yourself. And don't just be you, thrive being you. So come to my channel. There you'll find in the description all the information you need, or alternatively, you can reach me through Alignable if you have that with Thrive Being You, or you can go to a website called hockleyyoga.ca. That may be a bit harder because nobody knows how to spell Hockley. It's not hockey, but it's hockleyyoga.ca. But Thrive Being You is pretty easy to remember, because who doesn't want to thrive being yourself? Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Veronica. So, Les, we know we can find you through the programming at communitypayitforward.us, but how else do they grab up your programs and attend your events?
Well, I'm definitely on Alignable. The name of my company is Enhanced Team Performance. And I'll give everybody my cell phone, but if you tell me where you found me and your full name, because I don't take solicitations. It's 303-579-6881. Let me know, because I'd love to have people host this workshop. Let's change the world. And that's exactly what neuroscience can do, starting with the largest. And if you know companies that really want to help their employees to the max, that's what JW is known for. And I can give you, when you contact me, I'll give you a write-up by Warrior's Heart magazine showing everything JW did. But 303-579-6881 or alignable.
Wow, what an offer. You get his direct line, the Les Simpson line. I love it. What a show, John. You get the last words. When you're done, I'm hitting stop. So give us the last words, John.
If anybody wants to get a hold of me, my email is millcitymarketingma@gmail.com. You can find me on Alignable. Look me up on pretty much any social media platform. Or if you want to talk to me one-on-one, my calendar link is Calendly. That's CANENDLY.com/Mill City Marketing MA. And you can book a time on my calendar if you want to talk one-on-one. If you want to view my previous podcasts, simply go to YouTube, type in Mill City Marketing MA, and my podcast will come up. And the last month and a half, I've had some really good ones. If you want to get a hold of me my email address also is millcitymarketingma@gmail.com. I keep things simple, folks.
And my email is les, LES, at C Charlie Sam Charlie course, CSCcourse.com. If you want to do that. Les at CSCcourse.com.
Yeah. And me is vmunoz@hockleyyoga.ca or info@hockleyyoga.ca.
There you go, Kurt.
All right, bye, everybody. We'll see you next time, live at 5 Eastern every Friday.